Hill, and I'm a 14-year-old violinist. I've been playing violin for 8.5 years. I practice 11 hours a day, and I'm a student at Juilliard Pre-College.
Hi, Pilar!
Hi! From practicing my violin to living in New York City, this is 1 week in my life. I hope I can do this. The piece I was practicing this week was the 24th Caprice composed by Niccolò Paganini. This is him right here. This is considered to be one of the most difficult pieces ever written for solo violin, and it's one of my favorites. It's got really difficult things like parallel octaves, rapid shifting, really fast scales, left-hand pizzicato, double stops, triple stops, aka chords. When I first heard this piece, when I was like really young, I remember hearing the left-hand pizzicato part. This part of the piece is like really hard because it's unlike most of the other violin pieces where the pizzicato is with your right hand, so it's like, it's not like, I didn't know like you could do that with the violin at first, so I was just watching that like, oh, how do you do that? I want to learn how to do that. And this week I was working on it really intently because of this really big performance I was preparing for. I practice violin for up to 11 hours a day. Here's what my day usually looks like.
7 a.m. right now. I just woke up.
Before I start practicing, I like to do yoga. I'm following social distancing, so I'm away from everybody else. Yoga really helps me because it really calms my mind, and violinists can get carpal tunnel or tendonitis. Stretch the fingers. I usually break my practice into 3 shifts, so I have my morning, afternoon, and evening. During my morning practice session, I don't practice any of my pieces. I only practice warm-up exercises like scales, arpeggios, and etudes. And these exercises are really helpful, especially just to keep your fingers nice and relaxed and fluid. My first practice shift lasts for around 4 hours. After my first practice session, I'll usually eat lunch or run some errands. Yummy ice cream sandwiches! It's like beginning to rain, so I have to hurry home, but I got some great snacks. For lunch, sometimes I'll eat at home. This looks so good. Or sometimes I'll go out. Oh my god, I haven't been to a restaurant in months. I'm so excited. My afternoon practice is just a chance for me to take the piece that I will be performing and really break it down and practice it really slowly. After my second shift of practicing, I'll usually eat dinner with my family or have some family time, and I'll usually go on social media just to keep up to date with my followers and supporters. So for my third and final practice shift, I usually take the parts that I worked on really slowly in my second practice shift and I work on them at tempo, which means to play at the speed that they would normally be played in a concert. One of the things that my teacher and I were working on this week was just really helping with the Italian style of playing. So Niccolò Paganini was an Italian virtuoso violinist and an amazing musician, and my teacher's been helping me with, playing it more like an opera singer, just playing the violin like you're singing it, so that people can be like, oh, it sounds like opera, this piece, you really want the bass to come out more. And then maybe you want the soprano to come out more. When I officially started playing the violin, I was 6 years old, and I had such a hunger for learning that the half hour a week with one teacher wasn't really enough. At one point I had 5 teachers, including a music theory teacher. Yeah, sure, it wasn't one of the most conventional ways of learning the violin, but it was cool because I was getting different ideas from different teachers, and when I would play in one lesson, my teacher would be like, I don't remember teaching you that. I really love playing the violin, and when I go to bed, I am very exhausted because it's a full workout, all the muscles are working.
It's around 11 o'clock. I'm ready to turn in. Good night.
So I've had my violin for around 4 years now. It's more of a modern violin. It's Dutch. It's made in the 1930s. It's still relatively young. It's 90 years old in violin years. There are violins that have been made in the 17th century, 18th century, and there is a difference in sound. The violin is a very delicate instrument, and overexposure to heat and cold weather, hot and cold weather, can actually be very damaging. It can crack the wood. So I use this little device called a damp it, and I dip it in water, I moisturize it, and it just keeps the humidity levels stable when I practice. I keep it in overnight, and I practice with it. When I perform, I don't have it in. I also, whenever I play outside, I have to make sure it's only maybe 15 minutes at a time. I can never do a full hour outside. So my bow is made out of horsehair, the hairs, and some hairs are like different colors, but mine is like the more standard way. And over time, I can lose a little bit of hair. So you see there's like a little gap over here, and it has accumulated some sweat and oil from my hand as well. This is my rosin, and I have to focus a little bit more on the lower half. And I don't do this every day, only when I feel like I really need it. It just gives the violin a nice clean and vibrant sound. I also have to wipe the rosin dust off the violin because over time it can get kind of gross and sticky. This week my bow has been giving me a little bit of trouble because it needs a rehair, and because I was using the rosin a lot more, I had to keep wiping the dust off the violin because didn't want anything to happen to the violin as well. Since I had this really big performance coming up, I was like really stressed that my bow wouldn't make it. The night before my performance, I broke my string in half. I was in the middle of practice, and then my E string just snapped in half. My performance is literally tomorrow, and I was hoping that I had another string, and thank God I did. The string is so thin, I actually thought that it wasn't in there, so I was like freaking out like, oh no! Thank God it didn't happen during my performance, which is tomorrow. That was scary. I really wanted to practice later in the evening, but since my string broke, I decided to wrap up early and start again earlier the next morning. The night before my performance, I did a really cool facial. One of the things that I've been exploring during the COVID-19 global shutdown are facials. I am super excited about my performance for tomorrow. It is drying, so I can't really move. Good morning! It's 4 a.m. I got up really early so I can practice. The morning of the performance, I was feeling so refreshed. And I went straight to practicing. As you can see, I'm still in my pajamas. I wanted to have a really good breakfast, so I had some avocado toast. And I'm gonna hurry up because I have to get back to practicing because in a couple of hours, I will be performing for Lindsey Stirling. I don't really feel like eating, I just wanna like practice. I'm like, why do I have to eat? But it's just really good to just give your body all the energy that you will need. So even though the concert was on Zoom, I still wanted to get dressed up. And the dress that I chose, there's a little backstory to it. When I performed at the Women in the World Summit, the 10th annual summit last year, I remember I was backstage and I was getting ready to perform, and I walked by Anna Wintour. She just looks at me and she says, "Oh, your dress is so pretty." I was like blown away, and I was so like humbled by the comment. And so I decided that I really wanted to wear this dress. It's showtime.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming.
I was actually warming up right before I joined the Zoom call.
Today we are so fortunate to have a special guest, Miss Lindsey Stirling.
She joins and she's like,
"Hi Pilar, how are you?"
And I'm like, "Great, thank you so much for coming." I couldn't believe, I've seen her videos and her medleys. I love the way she combines choreography and music together. It's just so magical, and just to see her right there on the computer talking to me, I was like, oh my goodness.
I'm so excited.
When she joined the call, it was definitely like, oh, this is real. I am performing for Lindsey Stirling.
What are you going to be playing today?
I will be playing the 24th Caprice by Niccolo Paganini. Once I played the first note, I was just ready to set the stage. When I perform, it's just me, the violin, and the bow, and I'm just really going into this space where I'm really incorporating what I've been practicing for the past week, really just emoting and telling a story through my playing. I'm not thinking about oh, I hope I hit this note, oh, I do this right. It's like, go for it. If I feel like I make a mistake, I keep going.
Wow! Oh my gosh, chills! the whole time. And that is one of the like premium violin pieces.
When I finished the last note, I'm just feeling so relieved, and I'm just feeling like, okay, I did it. It went really well, and I can't wait to just listen to what everyone has to say.
I just can't say enough about like your articulation, your use of the bow, and using the appropriate places of the bow to get all the expressions that you did. The variety and the depth that you brought into that piece was just phenomenal. And thinking about music as a story changed everything for me, and it made it really fun to then write pieces and tell stories. And you are a storyteller just in the way you played your violin today.
And I'm like, yeah, I know, because when I was practicing, I was really trying to express that through my playing, and I was like, wow, she noticed that. Like, oh my goodness, it was an amazing moment, and I will always remember.
It will be really exciting to see how you take it into like sharing it maybe with in different ways.
Thank you.
Good luck to all of you guys. You're amazing, you're beautiful, you're strong, and I feel so lucky I got to spend this morning with you.
Oh my god, I'm like sweating right now. Like, it was really hot, and oh my god, I'm so happy. What I love most about playing the violin is how I can really express my feelings and emotions through playing to an audience. It's just such an amazing feeling when I get to hear feedback and how they're like, oh yeah, it's so beautiful, I can feel you're telling a story, I can feel how you're really feeling the music. I get to put my own feelings into the instrument, and it's like this connection that we both have, and it's beautiful.